Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check today's video out. Guys, today I want to have a discussion on the topic of how and why and if we are basically raising a generation of dumbed down bass anglers that have a very limited skill set. I see it very prevalent over the past couple of years. It really disturbs me a lot. And we're going to get into that in today's video. I'm sort of going to give you my thoughts on that, and I definitely like to get your guys' opinion on that as well. Also, guys, real quick reminder, we've only got like a week left in the Tackle Warehouse Black Friday sale. Tackle Warehouse, guys, has got like 20% off on like anything on the website, just about. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video if you guys would like to use that link. It's a good way to get you some good deals on tackle and support the channel at the same time. And also, I'd like to invite everybody to please hit that subscribe button and the like button to the videos. It's also a good way to help out around here, so much appreciated. Okay, you guys know that I've been very critical. I've watched the channel about a lot of different stuff going on in our sport, you know, the environmental concerns, the environmental apathy, you know, the whole technology exploding and how it's, you know, destroying the sport. But one of the byproducts of that is the fact that we're creating a generation of what I call dumbed down bass anglers that simply do not know or have the skills to, you know, experience and fully bass fish with every different genre that's out there. I mean, the technology takeover that we've seen, specifically amongst the younger anglers, because they're the ones that have been introduced to it more aggressively, it simply does not require the skill set. I will say it right now that using forward-facing sonar and technology is like going to kindergarten. It's the most dumbed down, simplistic way to fish that completely allows the angler to rely on technology without their own skills, and it's creating a generation of less intelligent bass anglers when it comes to fishing. And I don't mean that to sound derogatory to those people as a person, because they may be highly intelligent in every other aspect of life, but they're not in bass fishing. So let me give you an example of the difference between the complexity and the difficulty of real bass fishing versus the video game fishing. Now, okay, you're video game fishing, forward-facing sonar, get out there, you roam around and put your trolling motor down with your, you know, LBC or whatever 34 transducer out there, and you scan her out in the middle of the cove until you see a group of fish or a fish or a pod of fish or whatever, and then you basically harass that fish into biting based upon how you see it moving on the screen. There's no skill involved whatsoever, and you would never catch that fish unless you had that umbilical cord attached to you to be able to read it on a video game. There's nothing to it. It's easy. A 10-year-old can do it. Simplistic fishing. Okay, now let's say you've got your typical, and again, I just refer to this, don't take offense. When I call somebody a 20-year-old flat brimmer, I'm referring to him the same way as I'm an old grizzled, you know, hogger or something like that. It's just sort of an identification term, so don't get your panties in the water about it. But when you got, let's say that I go fishing out there with that 20-year-old flat brimmer, he gets out there, you know, Livescope and does his deal. And then, you know, I take him and say, okay, let's move to the bank here. And I take him over to a lay down tree in the water. And I go, okay, I want you to explain to me every single variable that is involved in catching a bass out of that lay down tree. And they're going to say, well, what do you mean like that? And then I'd say there's literally 100 different variables that could determine if you're going to catch one out of that tree. It's a true art form. Number one, you know, tell me, first of all, let's talk about the lure technique. You give me your basically your analysis based upon the light intensity, the wind speed, the water temperature, the water clarity, the water level, the mood and the personality of the bass, how the bass is positioned within that cover based upon different times of the day. You tell me how the bass is positioned on that lay down tree at 9 o'clock in the morning based upon the wind direction and the sun angle. And then you tell me how the bass is positioned on that piece of cover at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with a different wind direction, a different light intensity, you know, possibility you've got, you know, some boat wakes coming up against the bank and it's reduced your water visibility, you tell me how the bass is going to react to that. You tell me what the mood and the personality of the fish is going to be on that laydown based upon the variables that we have and the changing variables. And then I want you to tell me about the lure category. Based upon that set of variables that I just gave you, you tell me the lure category that's going to generate that strike. You tell me the lure category, you tell me the lure profile, you tell me the lure color based on the water temperature, the water clarity, the sunlight intensity, the light intensity, the angle of the sun, and then you tell me the change within that lure category or color 3 hours from now when you have a different set of variables with that. Then I want you to tell me the impact that fishing pressure, wave pressure, increased decibel levels in the water are going to have on the mood and the personality of that fish. And then on top of that, I want you to show me your casting skills. I want you to show me how you can put your lure exactly where I tell you right there, not 2 inches away from that log, but an inch away from that log. I want you to show me how you need to position your boat on that laydown to come down at the right angle to generate that strike. My point is, as you can see, is real bass fishing and shallow water bass fishing is a scientific art form that is 1,000 times different than the dumbed down technique of forward facing sonar for bass. So what we have is you have got this generation of anglers that are coming out there that they couldn't tell you what I just requested that information for fishing a simple laydown, and they'd have no clue what I'm even talking about. It's like I'm speaking in a foreign language to them. And then that's a laydown tree, and then apply it to everything else. Apply it to a boat dock, apply it to a flooded bush, apply it to a grass bed, apply it to emergent or submergent grass, and on and on and on. So the point is this is why it takes decades to hone the skill and become a true professional angler. And that's why you're seeing these 20-year-old kids go out there and dominate with forward-facing sonar, because it's a dumbed-down way of fishing that does not require that skill. It's an artificial lifeline. It's an umbilical cord. And in the process, everybody that's gushing about this technology and think how great it is, they're actually harming the next generation of anglers out there. They're making them reliant. They're making them have to use a crutch. They're making them handicapped, and they simply don't have the skills to do that. It's the same way with, like, if we step back in time 1,000 years ago, guys, and you were put into a Native American tribe that knew how to survive. They had the survival skills, physical, mentally, emotionally, to survive in a wilderness environment. You would look like the most ignorant, ill-equipped, stupid person that has ever lived, because you wouldn't have any survival skills, because you've lost those survival skills due to technology. And it's the same what's happening in bass fishing. So anyway, guys, if it's just not another thing to realize how much forward-facing sonar sucks and how terrible it is for our sport, add to that we are creating a generation of dumbed-down bass anglers as a result, which is sad to me. It's extremely sad, but in order for them to compete, they have to be dumbed down. They have to fall in line and become sort of sheep to the electronic companies and the way that they're creating bass fishing to be moving forward in correlation with the tournament organization. So my point is, guys, is resist it. Resist technology at every turn. Try to undermine its success. Try to do everything you can to get it out of tournament fishing and out of sport and recreational fishing, and really get back to the true art form that bass fishing is, that has been made it the greatest sport that this world has ever seen up until the past 5 years. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. We'll talk later.